Burton Cummings has written countless rock and roll hits and was inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame back in 2005. The songs, though, he wrote when he was with the Guess Who can no longer be performed live by the current band. Earlier this month, Rolling Stone reported that Cummings terminated agreements with performing rights organizations for every Guess Who song he wrote and published. This means fans of hits like American Woman or These Eyes might not be able to hear them played live in a concert. Now, it's a decision that comes on the heels of a lawsuit filed last year by Cummings and guitarist Randy Bachman. The suit accuses bassist Jim Cale and Gary Peterson of deceiving fans with a band currently touring under the Guess Who name. Burton Cummings himself, the former frontman of the Guess Who, is on the line. Welcome to the program. Hello.
Thank you. First of all, thanks for having me. I've been told by a lot of friends of mine and a lot of my lawyers, including all my legal team, that there's a lot of misinformation floating around out there, especially in the last 10 days or 2 weeks. So thank you for having me on to clear a lot of it up.
And I am glad you're here because let's talk about that decision. Why did you decide to pull the rights to your songs? What would you say motivated that step?
Well, my lawyers are probably the better ones to ask, but in short terms, the songs are not registered with any organization that provides a blanket license to venues. So, the fact is, I've taken intellectual property I own and made the decision to stop this deception by the cover band. The cover band has used my songs and Randy's songs over the years to draw people to their fake shows. So now it's not the band on the records that is showing up to the gigs. And this is what we're going to stop. And, it doesn't matter if someone wants to use the original recording or a cover version commercially. It doesn't matter what version they're using. They have to apply for a sync license from the publisher. And now the fake band has gone and re-recorded new fake versions of the classic songs. And not once has the fake band applied for or paid for a sync license. And they've recorded their own versions of the classic songs.
Burton, current band members say that they lawfully own the Guess Who trademark and are allowed to call their band by that name. You've characterized them as a cover band or even a fake band. What leads you to call them that?
Well, here's the thing. Over the years, I've said it dozens of times. We have never signed the name over it to Cale. Or it always seems that people say we signed the name over to Cale or we sold it to him, and now I'm just changing my mind because I don't like the situation. The truth is, it was many years after the band folded when the three of us had given Cale permission to use the name for a few shows. Cale discovered at that time that the band's name had never officially been trademarked. He lied on the documents and claimed to the Patent and Trademark Office that the band's name was first exploited in 1978. Had he written the truth, 1965, the actual year, his application would have been turned down.
The current group has canceled shows on the heels of the decision. We did reach out to the manager of the current Guess Who band, who says he's worried the decision will impact the livelihoods of musicians that are touring right now. What do you say to that?
What can I possibly say to that? They've been giving out false information, and this isn't a battle of who's better than whom. It's they had 45 years to produce their own legacy, to produce their own history, decades to produce their own history. And they borrowed the hit songs to draw people to the fake shows. Now, as evidenced by the canceled shows, they didn't step up and create their own hit songs. They didn't create their own classic records.
There are many folks, when they look up your song American Woman, Lenny Kravitz's performance comes up. For folks like Lenny Kravitz, can he still perform American Woman?
Of course he can. I would issue licenses to anybody. I own the publishing for the catalog, which means I control the use of the songs in the marketplace. I'm here to say, the information given to CBC recently was 100% incorrect. I can perform the songs. Randy can perform the songs. I can also issue licenses at will to anyone I grant permission to perform the songs. Anyone. But the fake Guess Who will no longer be performing the songs. It's as simple as that. If they believe in their own band, let them stand on the merit of what they've done. I don't see their records zipping up the charts or creating a separate history.
Burton, I'm going to ask you one more question on this decision. There was that article by Rolling Stone magazine that said, quote, "In effect, he shot himself in the foot to try to shoot the Guess Who in the face," unquote. Is that a fair characterization?
Well, let me put it this way. Someone I know online, a friend of mine from social media, he put it in perspective. He wrote this online the other day. The Guess Who cover band, they're like a band of bank robbers who are upset that the bank they've been robbing for years has decided to improve their security to prevent any future robberies. It's as simple, the bank, let's put it this way, the bank is now closed.
Burton, it will not come as a surprise to you that you are and the Guess Who are hometown heroes to so many here in Winnipeg. What do you want the band's legacy to be?
I just want the music to stand on its own strength, on its own honor. I want people to realize that Randy Bachman, Kurt Winter, Bill Wallace, all the people that wrote the songs, we're the ones that made the records. I don't want the history of the band to be tied up with these fakes. For in 2022 and 2023, Peterson was barely on stage at all. For a 2-year period, he barely showed up for any of the shows. That means at that point, there were 5 fake people. Peterson tried to show up since the lawsuit was filed, but I don't know if he's in that good shape anymore. The truth is, in 2022 and 23, he was absent from most of the gigs, which means there were 5 false people that didn't make the Guess Who records.
You are still performing, and you have several dates at several performances, which includes one in Vancouver. Can you commit to Winnipeg fans about when they might be able to see you in concert again?
Well, I'm not sure, but I love, it's my hometown. Let's put it this way. Let's put this into perspective. I wouldn't have gold records if it weren't for Winnipeg. I grew up listening to the radio in Winnipeg. My look at the world was through the eyes of a Winnipeg kid. And I want the city to realize what we did, especially, not just for Winnipeg, but for Canada. We toured all over Australia with the Canadian flag as our background. We went to Hawaii many times. We played in every state, including Alaska, every province, went all over Europe. And these guys didn't do any of that to create the history. Oh, listen, I wanted to mention one more thing before, I appreciate you having me and letting me give you the truth on all of these. I wanted to mention one more thing. I've been told by my legal team that the current lead singer in the fake Guess Who says in interviews he's been in the Guess Who longer than I was. He went out and said, "Hey, I've been in the Guess Who longer than Burton was." You know what? No, he hasn't. he has been in a Guess Who cover band longer than I was in the real Guess Who.
Burton, I don't think you said no to coming back to Winnipeg to play a show.
Oh, absolutely. I love. Listen, I love Winnipeg. You know, I don't like to think that that.
I think we may have lost Burton there. Are you
That's
still
an
there,
awful feeling.
Oh, there you
Anyway,
go. Burton, we're looking forward to us speaking again. Thank you for making time today, and I'm sure we'll see each other soon.
Okay, thank you so very, very much for having me. I'm glad we cleared up some of these lies. Thank you.
Burton Cummings, songwriter and performer, former frontman of Canadian rock band The Guess Who.